competitive world, average won't cut it. The Success Launch Point shows you how to stand out, deliver massive value, and rise above the crowd. With on-demand courses, expert coaching, and a community focused on growth, you'll accelerate your career and your paycheck. It's time to level up. Check out modernobserver.com/launchpoint.
Three Mile Island to come back online. The war in Ukraine heats up again. The U.S. trade deficit plummets, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. The U.S. Department of Energy will lend $1 billion to restart Pennsylvania's 3 Mile Island nuclear plant, the site of a partial meltdown in 1979, as part of a deal to supply power to Microsoft data centers. Constellation Energy plans to bring the reactor, renamed the Crane Clean Energy Center, back online by 2027 as part of a $1.6 billion restoration. The 835-megawatt unit could power about 800,000 homes, and officials say the project marks a step in reviving U.S. nuclear capacity to meet rising energy and AI demand. White House border czar Tom Homan announced that U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement will increase operations in New York City due to its sanctuary city status, citing public safety threats. Homan expressed a willingness to meet with city officials to work together on immigration issues. Mayor Eric Adams' office said the city administration doesn't collaborate with the federal government on civil immigration enforcement. President Donald Trump said Wednesday that he will meet with New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani at the White House later this week. Trump wrote on Truth Social Wednesday evening, quote, "Communist Mayor of New York City Zohran Mamdani has asked for a meeting. We have agreed that this meeting will take place at the Oval Office on Friday, November 21st. Further details to follow," unquote. NATO fighter jets were scrambled and ground-based air defense systems put on the highest level of alert in Poland and Romania during a massive and deadly overnight Russian attack on targets across Ukraine, military officials in Warsaw and Bucharest said. One drone was reported penetrating some 5 miles into Romanian airspace before being lost on radar, the defense ministry in Bucharest said in a statement. At least 26 people, including 3 children, were killed in Russian strikes on the western city of Ternopil, according to Ukraine's Interior Ministry, where 2 9-story residential buildings were hit by Russian munitions. Nearly 100 others, among them over a dozen children, were injured, the ministry said. As the war in Ukraine continues to heat up, the U.S. is reportedly working with Russia to draft a new peace plan that would have Ukraine give up large chunks of territory to Russia. According to a Russian official, a recent round of talks was led by Steve Witkoff in Miami. Germany's coalition government has agreed to a new system of incentives for voluntary military service after a heated debate last week to address the growing Russia's threat to the European continent. Incentives to generate recruitment involve free access to driving licenses. The cost of driving licenses can reach several $1,000s. The second incentive is an increase in the existing pre-tax salary at the starting level to around $3,000 a month. Iran is backing Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro, just as the Trump administration steps up military pressure in the Caribbean and expands its crackdown on criminal networks tied to the regime in Caracas. Earlier this week, Iran condemned U.S. actions and publicly tied itself to Maduro. An Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson warned of dangerous repercussions from U.S. military activity in the region, arguing the operations threaten international peace and security, according to Iran's official news agency, IRNA. Venezuelan Foreign Minister Ivan Gil Pinto immediately welcomed Tehran's backing. In comments reported by the Tehran Times, he thanked Iran for its solidarity with the Venezuelan people. Iran's support of Maduro comes as no surprise, since money has been tracked being funneled to Iran from the cartels targeted by the U.S. military. Target struggles continued last quarter, with Target reporting yesterday that sales continued to slump, marking the 12th quarter in a row with weak or declining sales. The company's stock is down nearly 35% for the year, but incoming CEO Michael Fidelki plans to boost investment next year to $5 billion to improve stores, digital offerings, and merchandise in hopes of turning things around. If you're frustrated with our recent performance, we are too, Fidelki told analysts. Target's difficulties started when consumers started boycotting them over their stance on DEI and their prominent displays of LGBTQ merchandise that targeted children. The U.S. goods and services trade deficit decreased in August 2025, according to the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis and the U.S. Census Bureau. The deficit decreased from $78.2 billion in July, revised, to $59.6 billion in August, as exports increased and imports decreased. The goods deficit decreased $18.1 billion in August to $85.6 billion. The services surplus increased $0.5 billion in August to $26.1 billion. This decrease of almost 25% is positive news for the U.S. economy. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcast app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.